What's Your Dream podcast. We are excited to have JJ Flizanes with us. JJ is an empowerment strategist and the host of several successful podcasts, including the People's Choice Awards nominee, Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. She specializes in working with conscious spiritual truth seekers who are ready to remove emotional blocks and create meaningful, lasting change in their lives. JJ is known for her unique ability to help people identify sabotaging patterns and transform struggle into joy. Through a series of clarifying exercises, she guides her clients to curate a personalized roadmap for emotional healing, empowering them to unlock their full potential and live the life of their dreams. With her deep passion for emotional freedom and personal growth, JJ provides a fresh perspective on how to break free from limitations and step into your highest self. To learn more about her work and get inspired to change your life, visit jjflizanes.com. Get ready for an inspiring conversation that could be the catalyst for your own transformation. Welcome, JJ. Good afternoon, JJ. How are you doing?
I'm good, Trisha. How are you?
Great. Thanks so much for coming on the What's Your Dream podcast.
Looking forward to having this conversation. Love the idea of dreams and all dreams can teach us and having dreams, like having big, bold dreams for your life.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about yours today.
Great.
All right. So, what is your biggest dream or aspiration?
Well, in this present red hot moment in August of 2024, it is to open on a business side. It's to, well, and kind of personal, to open a retreat center where I live, to be doing the kind of deep work that I do with people sort of one-on-one and be able to facilitate that into small groups and retreats and having them be longer and a little bit more retreat-y. Like I do retreats, but people come here or they stay at hotels nearby and we do things, but it's different than truly like all being together in one place that's sort of off the grid and you have all the experiences. So anyway, that's what I'm just putting that out there. I have no idea how it will happen. I do have maybe one or two investors already, but where I'm so far from it, it's just, I'm just putting it out into the world. I want to have a retreat center in Ojai, California, maybe anywhere between 3 and 5 acres of land. It could be already built. It could be not built. I don't know, but I'm just looking forward to being able to execute it and have it pop into my lap.
That's awesome. So, well, there's no better way to put it out in the world, right? So, where at in California? Where did you say?
Ojai.
Ojai. Okay. So, where is that versus, I don't know exactly where that's at.
Between Santa Barbara and Los Angeles.
Okay. Very, very nice. I love that. All right. What makes you feel grateful and full of joy today?
The ability to work for myself and to take it easy. I sort of woke up and it's hot here and sunny most of the time, or warm and sunny. And today was a little overcast, but I got up and I have a very leisurely morning. When I moved here and we bought this house, I declared, because I was a former personal trainer and I used to wake up very early all the time. So to me, freedom is waking up to no alarm. So if I have to have an alarm on, kind of doesn't really go well with my nervous system. And I'll actually like stay up and my brain will kind of get me up if I have to have an alarm because I don't want to miss the alarm. And I only do that if I have to travel or, go for a plane or be somewhere before 9 a.m. But I really enjoy just leisurely sleeping in. I went outside today and I wrote a journal about the things that I wanted. I run a bunch of different groups. The one that's there's 3 active right now, but the most recent one's called Date Your Body. And one of the things that I teach in all the groups is no matter what you're doing, you need a picture in your brain in order for your body and your subconscious to help you manifest it. And that's to be pretty specific of a picture. Otherwise, if you're just going to default to the strongest image your brain shows you. So if you want to get out of a situation and you're only remembering, so let's say trauma, and you don't feel safe in the world. If all you remember is the trauma and that's the picture you keep replaying, then your body keeps responding to that. So I want people to learn how to create a new picture in their brain so that we can ask the body and the subconscious and your frequencies and vibrational manifestations to help you manifest and bring into reality that picture. So today, I had done it a couple of times, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it a little deeper. I'm going to go a little more specific. So I took out the journal. I had my cup of coffee and I'm sitting in my backyard, which I manifested. The whole thing. I have a whole show called How I Manifested My Dream Home. Every single thing I have created, I've manifested, I saw it in my mind, I visualized it, I brought it forward and it showed up. So I was like, okay, time to continue that and redo that now because you have this, check. So let's look at different parts of your life. And so I took a journal and then I kind of meditated a lot this morning already. I was just kind of still and quiet and my mind wasn't racing. Not that it races, but I have, when you have lots to do, you think a lot. So I thought, no, I'm just going to be easy. I'm going to make my breakfast very easy. And then a funny thing happened. My body said, no more. I made a paleo, I'm paleo and gluten-free. And anyway, so I made this quesadilla. It was cheese and truffle and raw cheddar cheese, organic raw cheddar cheese and jalapeno and garlic. And then the bread part, if you will, is like the almond flour from the almond tortillas from Siete. Anyway, and normally I could just eat that whole thing and like not even blink an eye. And today I've been doing a lot of fasting and detoxing and stuff. Today I had half of it. I chewed it very, very well, very slowly. And my body went, stop, you're done. I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, so I just sort of reveled in that. So today I have clicked into my body more than ever before, even though I teach this and I'm aware of this, but today was a different experience. So I really appreciate the space that I have and the space I've created and the life that I've created and just the whole thing. I get to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Like that's the freedom of working for yourself, right? Of creating a business is having that freedom because freedom is my absolute number one main thing.
Your word. I love that. Yeah, that's amazing. So I think you were talking about pictures at first. This brought up a couple questions for me. So you're talking about a new picture in your mind. How important is it for you to have a picture of maybe like what you used to look like, or maybe a picture of what you want to look like? How important is that for you to have a picture that's kind of like in front of you a lot? So that way you know your goal. Is that something that you teach your clients?
Yeah, well, it's if an old picture of yourself, here's where sometimes the old picture doesn't really work because it's old.
Yeah.
We have to create a new picture. We have to
Yeah.
visualize about what we want to have happen because what can happen is core wounds, upper limits, fears, patterns can surface when you're looking at something from the past because your brain will say, well, but that was the past.
Hmm.
If you don't believe it, you can't manifest it. So in order to manifest anything, we have to shift what we think is possible. And so having a picture is absolutely necessary to get what you want, but it isn't, but you don't have to necessarily know it right now, but you can create it. So I think that's the point is, especially for people with body stuff, when they think about their body and there's the appreciation and the acceptance, but moving forward, well, what do you want it to look like? And don't, because we shame ourselves for where we were. And if you looking at a picture when you're 20 and you're 60, well, guess what? You're never going to look like you did when you were 20. It's not happening. But you look similar or even better in ways? Absolutely. But we want to create a new picture moving forward, not revert to back. So what happens is our brain will default in any area of life, finances, abundance, work, relationships, health, self-care, relationship to self. It will all default to whatever the strongest picture is in your brain, which is something that happened in the past. So that's why it's really important to do regular, specific visualizations about what you want moving forward.
Yeah, love visualization. It's one of my very favorite things. And of course, meditation. We talk about that all the time. So, paleo, is that something that you typically tell your clients? And how do you usually work with your clients these days?
Oh, well. Okay. So I've got at this point, I have a couple different programs. I have a business mastermind for anyone who listens to my
Mhm.
show, but you have to do all the emotional work before you can actually get into the business mastermind because I am tired of separating because people think that money's over here and your wellness and your relationships and your, how you look at the world is in a different area. I'm like, no, they're all connected. And this is how it has to be. Otherwise you're going to weigh out and give up something. I started a mastermind because I used to be in them and I would run some of them for free and I would join other people's. But what I saw happening in the world where people were giving up, let's say they were trading money for relationships or trading money for health. And I'm like, no, 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 no trade, no trade, all balance, all have to be in. I mean, some may take a lead at some points in time, but never one for the other as an equal exchange. They all work together. So I couldn't find it. So I created it. So I've been doing that for about 5 years. But then the whole emotional piece came up because I thought, all right, well, your blocks aren't because you don't know what the right funnel is or the right way to get visibility, whether it be through podcasts or speaking or newsletters and emails or vlogs. So it's not the tricks. They're personal wounds and upper limits that people have to work on. So I created a program called Rewiring Your Core Wound Patterns, because I believe that the core wound work is pivotal for understanding why you do what you do, why you believe what you believe, and why you have what you have, or why you don't have what you want. And if we don't look at those core wounds, then you can just be repeating patterns after patterns, years after years, go to therapy for 10 years, talk about the same thing, and you're the same victim in the same story, and you haven't broken out of it. Why? Because you never hit the actual real root, which is the wound, and you're not actually taking responsibility and or creating new neural pathways by stretching into new habits and patterns and behaviors. So I teach a lot of tools, and that rewiring came out of years of a certification that I created to teach people these tools that I was using on people. And that kept going. And then I'm like, okay, I love this deep dive because it gives us an opportunity to peel back the layers and use different frameworks to understand why we are the way we are, to create more compassion, to improve communication, to improve relationships. And, and so the Rewire program became, well, it was a 3-month program. And then there's another 3 months called Evolving Beyond Your Story. And that sort of 6 months still isn't even enough. This current Rewire group's like, okay, what's next? We want to keep going. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like the mastermind's a year, and so should this emotional program. But I'm starting with 6, and now I'm moved to 9 months. So the new 3-month addition to that is my new program called Date Your Body. As a personal trainer for 25 years, which I'm not right now, meaning I'm not working with people one-on-one executing exercise, but it's where I was before doing all of this. And I thought, okay, bring it back. So I created the program called Date Your Body. And it's a combo of all the things. It's dealing with a commitment to yourself, showing up for yourself, releasing body shame, reenacting and reestablishing self-love and respect. So, and next year when I do them, it'll be January will be Date Your Body. Then in April will be Rewire. And then 3 months after that will be the Evolve program. And people can jump in to either Date Your Body or Rewire at any point in time. They won't have, currently they won't have to be that you have to do the whole 9 months, but it's lifestyle. It's even today I had a client who came on Marco Polo to say how thankful she is. She's been in 2 groups now. So she's been with me for over a year, but having a group, having a community, like-minded, talking about the same things, holding you accountable. Like, you're not going to get that in your family. You're not going to get that with your spouse, partner, or children. You're not going to get that at your church. I'm sorry, maybe in a churchy way with, your religion, but you're not going to get it on a health, relationships, self-love, self-care. Like, it's not going to span the whole gamut of all the things. So it's just really important to have this tribe that can lean on each other, that knows they're safe, that can talk about anything, that can, share themselves fully and without feeling shamed or feeling a fear of being judged. It's a judge-free zone. It's just great. So, so people kind of come in and out. I have so many other free things. I've got a manifestation challenge people can start with, and they've probably missed the one that I'm running in November as of the airing of the show, but there'll be another one. There'll be another one probably in February of 2025. It's a free 14-day manifestation challenge. So, people listen to the podcast, they come in through the challenge, they start to get to know me, they start to trust me. And then if they're really called to make big changes, then they reach out. So that's kind of how I work.
Awesome. Love it. I love everything you just said. Very nice. What are the most significant lessons you've learned throughout your life, and how have they shaped you as a person?
Well, when I heard Esther Hicks channeling Abraham in 2001 say, "You are the creator of your own reality," that was pretty
Mhm.
life-changing. I thought, that's good news. That's really good news. If I'm the creator of my own reality and I don't like something, I get to change it. That's
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
And so that definitely was a pivotal moment. Understanding my core wounds was definitely life-changing. Understanding my upper limits was life-changing. And knowing and trusting sort of divine timing, I would say. Because I learned all of this because I was trying to save my marriage. Not all of this, but I learned a lot of this because I was trying to save my marriage. And then, of course, law of attraction was because I was having a business. And when you start a business, you want to make money and you want to be successful and you want to be good at what you do. And so what's that about? It's about attraction, understanding frequency and vibration. So everything I've learned, I've applied, and I keep learning and I keep applying. But I'd say those core lessons would be: you're the creator of your own reality, understanding vibration and frequency, understanding quantum physics as it relates to all of the other sciences, and just knowing that we're more powerful than we ever know, because no one tells us and teaches us.
Yeah, and I think just as scary as that and amazing as you are the creator of your own reality, it's also the, "Oh, I created this?" At the same time, there are certain things that you're like, "Oh my gosh." And so that's the thing is like you have to take that new trajectory to create those new neural pathways, and I think that's where most people, they don't realize it, right? They get stuck somewhere and then they end up on that loop of life and they're not able to get off. So, kudos to you for getting off and recreating that, and I'm assuming you're still married?
No, actually, that relationship, I that's where the divine timing and like sort of divine contracts comes in. I had a great reason to
Mhm.
learn all of this at the speed at which I learned it. I had great reason to implement it, to live it, to check myself, to check my ego, to work on myself, to let go of my things. And without that, I wouldn't have done all of this because I wouldn't have needed to. And so when I came away with that, there was a moment in time where I realized that the contract we had, our souls, it
Mhm.
was over. It had run its course. And
Oh,
not that I had given up because I hadn't. What had happened was I had written a book called Fit to Love: How to Get Physically, Emotionally, and Spiritually Fit to Attract Love of Your Life. Now, love of your life is not somebody else, it's you. But I did, part of this was attracting my husband within 3 weeks and all that went into that. Because absolutely he's a soulmate. And those lessons developed me. It's like you go to school and you learn something and it changes you. Okay, well, it changed me and it changed him. And I got to make new decisions and new boundaries and new awarenesses and new compassion. I mean, start try, I'm big on compassion and not blaming. And I think the majority of people in the world think that if I'm having a bad day or I'm not happy or you're being mean to me and I feel bad about it, that it's your fault. Now, someone being mean to you isn't necessarily, you can give them some responsibility, but generally, like, we are victims walking around. We think that the world is this way, therefore I'm blank. And it's like, no, the world is reflecting back to you what's going on inside of you. Stuff's happening in the world, but there's good stuff happening at the same time. You're just not in alignment with it. So it's not quite the victim mentality. And I guess maybe that's something I could have added for the last question as to what one of the biggest lessons. I was a great victim in high school. I remember being able to tell people exactly how they hurt my feelings and how never to do that again. Just like, oh my God. Yeah, I was really good at that. And then when I learned law of attraction and you're the creator of your own reality, it flipped. And I'm like, oh no, I am the creator of everything. Now, anyone that's out there that's listening and bad things have happened to you, it doesn't mean that you asked for those. It means you're in the frequency of that thing. But on a bigger spiritual level, I do believe that there was a reason why you chose to come into this life experience and have these contracts with these people. So it's not your fault necessarily, but what if you would think for a second, did I choose this? Why would I have chosen this? What lesson did I want to come down and learn in this physical body in this time frame? Because if we think a little bit bigger and we expand our awareness, we don't make it so judgy about shame and deservability and I made a mistake or I did something wrong. There is no wrong. There's just lessons or there's ideas. And if you have had bad things, it's an opportunity to grow. So you can take that and ask yourself, why might I have chosen this as a soul to experience this in this lifetime? What possibly good can come out of this? Well, it could be that I forgive somebody and then teach others how to forgive. It could be that I heal myself and I teach others how to heal. So these are things to think about. And so for me, when I kind of released control, I was having nervousness about writing a book about law of attraction and manifestation and then getting divorced. And I wasn't ready to get divorced anyway. I was holding on super tight. But what I was ready for at one point was, because I realized that there was nothing else I could do in that situation, was to say, you can move out. Like, I was thinking I'd had some hope through some people I had interviewed in the past where there was this couple and they were married for 10 years and then they literally went to get a divorce. And then the lawyer didn't actually file the paperwork. So they thought they were divorced. So they separated and
oh,
then they went on with their lives, but they shared a child. And somewhere in that year, they kind of gravitated back towards each other. And then they read, love language book. And now they're still together and they never got divorced. So it's a really inspiring story of how they went apart for a little while and they gained some clarity and perspective. And then they came back together and they were stronger and better. So that's what I had in my mind. Oh, let's do that. So I was like, all right, well, I'm ready for you to go now. You can move out now. Maybe let's take 6 months or a year. And the minute I surrendered, the minute I was like, it's like when you're holding something really, really tight in your hands for so long that your fingers start to ache. And the minute that you let go, all the blood flow starts to come back in your fingers. You're like, ah. Well, the minute I let go and my hands were open, the universe plopped down my next man, my forever guy, my soulmate, also next soulmate, that was someone that I knew. And I literally was like, no, universe, I don't want somebody new. I want that guy. I want the guy I married. I want to work out with him. I don't want to get divorced. That's the last thing I would ever want. I never saw that, which is why I worked so hard not to have that happen.
Yeah.
And but the universe kept saying, no, this is you've been vibrating over here. You've been working real hard to manifest all these wonderful things. And this person has all those they're in alignment. This guy is not. He's not. He doesn't want to do that. You can't make somebody want to do that. I'm like, oh, okay. And so that was, yeah, my shame was, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to manifest somebody in 3 weeks. I'm going to be a fraud. I'm a failure. People are going to think I don't know anything. And then it was 2 hours. It was 2 hours from the time I like released and said, okay, you can go move out now. And then the universe was like, plop, here's Doug. And I was like, wait a minute. No. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, no, I have grown into and expanded into where I'm supposed to be now forever. And we're not technically married. He tells me one day we will be, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're committed. We have a house together. We have 5 cats together. We're good.
Yeah.
But I've manifested a new life.
That's great. Yeah, I think a lot of more people need to let go. I think there are times that people separate and then they realize that they do miss each other. I think it's not a bad idea, but it's also, I don't know if you've read Matthew Kelly's book, 7 Levels of Intimacy, but it's like if you have two people that aren't willing to be each other's cheerleader, be support for each other, aren't willing to grow and learn, he says it's over 100% of the time. 100%, no matter what, whether you end up sleeping in separate beds or whatever it is. It's like, I've been divorced twice. And so it's like, and I have manifested my soulmate as well. And so it's like, there are people definitely that are put into your life for different lessons. But at the same time, I think we're all put here to be happy. And I love what you said about coming here for experiences. And it comes like, for me, I'm reading in the middle of reading the 4th book of Conversations with God. And I don't know if you've read that or not, but it's like, that's exactly what it is. Our souls came here to experience certain things, and some of it is horrible and some of it, but nothing's perfect, right? But I think we're here to create our own heaven on earth. We're here to create whatever we came here for. So I am completely in line with everything you're saying. Love it so much. So we'll go on to the next question. What inspires you and motivates you to keep going even when faced with challenges?
Well, I think so. I'm highly intuitive. I actually even created like a strengthening intuition course. So if there's a problem or a challenge, it's really an opportunity for growth. So it's if I can in teaching law of attraction, I think that's one of the biggest components of success in living is when you see something as a problem that you reframe it as a opportunity or challenge or a mirror. Okay, well, why is this happening? Because you're the creator of your own reality. So like, what's happening? And so just to have a come to Jesus moment, so to speak, with yourself and be honest about how you've contributed to this bad thing happening or where it's pivoting you. So in the case of I work with a lot of cancer patients and people with, chronic diseases and many times people will say, well, cancer saved me because I was on a path that was very disruptive and in disharmony and I was definitely going to die. And if I didn't have this wake up call because I wasn't listening to all the ways my body was trying to sign to me to slow down, to breathe, to not be in a stressful place more, to listen to my body. And some people don't listen. So something big has to happen to knock you on your butt. So that way you have to pay attention to where you're going. So sometimes these things that seemingly seem like bad things, like let's say my divorce, it was terrible. At the same time, I also had manifested someone who's my best friend, who I like feel completely safe with, and that we have so much in common. And he wants to work on stuff, and it just like it was meant to be. But the funny thing is, this person was my client, and prior to this, so what happened was his wife left him the same day my husband and I were separated, and I knew he was having a problem. She was mad at him, didn't see that coming. He had no idea what was going on with me. And it happened. And it was that crack in his heart that allowed his consciousness to awaken. Because prior to that, while I liked him as a person, that would have never happened. I wasn't interested in him. Like, we talk two different languages. We're on two different planets, like in terms of emotions. But he got cracked open. And now we were in more of an alignment together. And there was a lot more desire to want to learn and to grow and to understand why this has happened to me. And, well, how did I contribute to this? And so, yeah. I think that what you were talking about in terms of we're here to grow, we're here to learn, we're here to have an experience. And when we have something bad happen, again, and bad is so judgment, like, is it really bad? It's unwanted. And in law of attraction, I teach pivoting. So you're like, thank you for showing me what I don't want. Okay, now what do I want? We spend so much time focus on what we don't want. We create so much negative momentum talking about, worrying about, thinking about what we don't want, and then we're confronted and confused why it keeps happening. So we do not spend enough time in the creation, like I talked about at the beginning of the show, of visualization, of getting excited about what you want to have happen, about being excited, about vibrating there. So I think when those things happen, it's an invitation to check yourself. Where are you pointed? What are you talking about? And if it's not what you want, time to clean that up and refocus so that you can get that juice, that really good momentum, and then turn into positive momentum and manifest what you want.
Yeah, and I think especially entrepreneurs, we definitely, especially what's been relating to me lately is doing more of what I love, not spending so much time sitting here at my computer and doing the things that I don't want to be doing. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to start taking off work at 3 o'clock every day. I'm going to read for the last 2 hours of my work day, and I'm going to do what I love doing is learning and growing and, researching. And I don't even know what I'm going to do with all of the information yet, but I'm not going to sit here from 8 to 5 anymore. And I think that that's going to get me off of that, a little bit of that work loop of web design and branding, like that's my main business. And it's like, you can only do that so much. And so that's my whole goal right now, right? Is to try to get off of that loop of being like working in my business so much. I want to work on it. I don't want to work in it as much anymore. I just want to be the CEO and be done with all of the day-to-day stuff. So that's important for a lot of entrepreneurs, is to do what you love. Kind of like you were saying earlier, right? I don't want to get up by an alarm. I want to be doing what I love. You've already meditated today. You've already visualized. You're doing the things that you love doing. So kudos to you.
Thanks.
Yep. What do you hope to leave behind in the world as your legacy?
I Empowerment. I'm about empowerment. And I recently realized, like a couple years ago, that I was attracting much younger. Well, I mean, I have a woman in my Date Your Body. She's in her 80s. I think she just turned 81. She's amazing. And at the same time, I have 20-year-olds that listen to the show or that want to be involved in programs. So, and then I've got the kids of the 40 and 50-year-olds who've been listening to me for 5 years, who also now follow me on social media. So I see like the trickle down of interest of empowerment, because my message is always empowerment and tools to empower you and, have a better life. And so I've created a certification, and I've taken 2 rounds of trainers through that certification. So it's really just continuing that work. I mean, I would love to be able to get to the place in the future where, regardless if I'm doing the podcast or not, that it continues to go. Like, I can pay for so many years for it to continue being out in the world, because I have people that have said they listen to the show, and my show by itself has changed their life. So, and that happens a lot. And I don't know them. They haven't paid me anything. They're not clients of mine. But so if the show's that powerful, I want that to keep going, and people can have it and know that they can better their lives under any circumstance, no matter what is going on with them. And then I will hopefully be training more people to continue to do the work. So I'll have a team of people in the future, and that will grow and grow. And so we can all be out there helping others to remove any emotional blocks to success, happiness, and wellness.
Awesome. So what is one action that you take every day to get closer to your dreams?
Well, I've been doing a lot of podcasts. So putting it out there, getting out there, sharing the message, sharing the tools. And yeah, I'd say just being visible. I do something that's about visibility every day.
Yep. Awesome. So how can people find you? What's the name of your podcast? Give us a little more detail.
Well, everything is at jjflizanes.com. That's
Mhm.
JJFLIZANES.com. I have a network of shows. The most popular show is called Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. Again, you can find that anywhere you listen to podcasts, anywhere you're listening to this podcast. There are some videos. They all don't have videos, but sometimes there's a video interview, and that's at my YouTube channel, which is jjflizanes.tv. But again, everything is at jjflizanes.com.
Yes, a hub. I like it.
Yes.
Awesome. Was there anything else that you want to leave with our listeners today?
You are the creator of your own reality. And the only reason why you want what you want is you think you'll feel better when you have it. And that's good news because all you have to do is focus on the feeling. Because when you have the feeling, you don't need the thing. But when you focus on the feeling, you'll get the thing because you don't need it. So, everybody, you have the ability to change how you feel no matter what's going on. So, care about how you feel.
Yes. Feel the feeling more often. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much.